Our Story Productions presents Martin County on TV, spotlighting the organizations, businesses, and citizens who are making a difference in our community today. And with interviews and stories done by local television shows over the last 25 years, here you're sure to learn more about the county we call home. Get ready, for this is Martin County on TV.
Hello and welcome. I'm Lenny Tvedten. Today we're going to take a closer look at local history through the Martin County Historical Society series called Out of the Past. My special guest today is Darwin Anderson. He's from the Tremont area. He's going to give us a little history lesson on Tremont. First of all, Darwin, tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into the history of Tremont in that area.
Okay, I was born at Grenada, graduated from Grenada High School, went to college, and went off to teach school for 4 years, and my wife and I were both teachers. And in 1960, we moved back to Tremont as I was offered a position in the bank by Bev's father. I started in the bank in 1960. The bank was very small. It was $1,850,000 in deposits. Today it's over $60 million in deposits. Tremont is a community that has a wonderful history. It was two towns, Monterey and Triumph. And the two towns, there was two railroads that came up across them, and they crossed just outside of town 1 mile, the two railroads. So there was a mile apart, there were two communities built. Monterey is on the west side, and Triumph is on the east side.
What separates the two? Is that Highway 4?
Highway 4 now separates them. So then we have two business districts, two fire departments, two consuls, two of everything.
Two mayors?
Two mayors. And in 1959, Les Peterson, who is my partner in the bank, and also my brother-in-law, became mayor, and they joined the two towns into Tremont. So Tremont became in 1959.
Was there kind of a rivalry between the two towns prior to that, when it was Triumph and Monterey?
There was people that claimed that they never went down to the other end, you know. And I don't want to use any names, but I can tell you that the people that didn't.
Was it pretty serious? I mean, were they really?
Oh yeah, it was serious. It was one of those things that just came over the years, and that ceased. You know, I mean, Tremont is a real good community. It's a community of it's known for its being clean and neat, and that's a real important thing for a town. And if you come to Tremont, you'll see that there's very little old buildings and that kind of thing. They've been taken care of.
Seems like, from what I've seen, the population of Tremont's been pretty stable for many years, actually.
Yes, it has. And we have a good school system. The school system was merged into Martin County West. Probably one of the strongest things that my children all went to Tremont before it was merged. All of them went off to college and all felt they were prepared for college. So education is important in Tremont. And now it's probably even better with Martin County West.
Sure. And
if I could just say something, I think agriculture is such an important part of our community. And so a strong FFA program, ag program in the school is really needed.
Okay, and then we're, I'm kind of interested in the history of Tremont. And I know there was one individual that's quite a historian that came from Tremont. That's Walter Carlson. We have a room in the museum named after him, the Walter Carlson Room. What do you know about Walter Carlson? Did you know him personally, or what can you tell us about him?
I knew him very well. In fact, at one time our bank sponsored a tour, and we asked Walter Carlson to put together a tour of the Tremont area. And he put together a 22-mile tour that went all around the Tremont area. And he pointed to important farms of history, schools, funeral homes, funeral cemeteries, and that kind of thing. And one thing I remember was that he pointed out that Elm Creek Cemetery, which is right up on Highway 4, north of Striemer, is the oldest corporation in Martin County.
Really?
And it came here in 1856.
Wow. What do you think spurred his interest in history? Do you have any idea?
Well, first of all, he was intelligent. There was a lot of intelligence in the Carlson family.
Mm-hmm.
And they're an old family, and they're a Swedish family. And there's a lot of history that comes out of the town, like the village, hamlet of Cedarville, which is out north of Tremont. And so that whole, it's a historic community.
Mm-hmm.
It's been there a long time.
Excuse me, anybody else, you mentioned, was it Arthur Carlson?
Arthur Carlson's his brother. There's a story about that. Arthur Carlson was a real worker, and after he was a farmer, seed corn salesman. Once he retired, he just couldn't stand not working. So he'd go to people in the community and say, have you got some brush that needs taken away? And so he had a pickup and a little trailer, and he'd cut the brush and haul it away and take it to the dump. And everybody thought the city was paying him, but the city thought the people were paying him. And so nobody was paying him. Well, I found out about that, so I nominated him for an award out of KEYC TV, and he won, for his work he's done. Well, each one of us got a little tree as a part at a banquet from this, about this high. And so I took mine home. And on a home farm out here at Grenada, we have a wildlife refuge that we planted in 1987, 7 acres. And there was one tree within this line of evergreens that wasn't there. So I took my tree and took it out there, and we named the tree Arthur, after Arthur Carlson. And this tree stands today.
Longevity.
Longevity, but the thing about that tree was it wasn't like the other trees. It's an ornamental tree.
Oh.
Whoever bought the trees for us didn't know the difference. So it's just a little short tree. It's about 6 feet tall. It's been there for 20 years.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, you've lived in Tremont since 1960, you said.
Yes.
So you've obviously seen some changes over the years.
Yes.
What would you consider the most significant changes that you've seen over the years in Tremont, and maybe that's positive to the area?
Okay, what we have to remember is that agriculture is the backbone of pretty much all communities in southern Minnesota.
Yeah.
And so agriculture has grown. And when it grew, farmers were incorporated, farms were incorporated, so there's less people, and so there's less labor, which has been replaced by capital. And so these huge farms are there. So we don't need a shoe person. We don't need a clothing store in every town, but we do need something that serves agriculture. That's what banks have done. That's what insurance agencies have done. That's what elevators have done. And so that's what I've seen, the change coming from small services into these giant New Way cooperative. For instance, a huge thing. Or Crystal Valley is putting in a huge feed mill in Tremont that we never hear about. It's 160 feet tall, and it's worth your to drive up there, and they're going to mill feed there. So it's what I've seen is a change it's serving agriculture.
Okay, I know too that you do a lot of writing, Darwin.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about a book that you just recently had published this year, I think, about a Christmas tree.
That's right.
Can you show us that and tell us a little bit about that book?
Well, our Christmas tree it's called Proud to be a Christmas Tree. And this is the 5th book I've written, and I'm not selling books, But in any case, this book the book has been written by the tree. And so the tree starts out from a seed.
From the perspective of the tree.
The tree is doing all the talking. So, and it goes from the time it's a seed till the time it's put in trays, till the time it goes out into the fields, then to the time it's cut for a Christmas tree. And this Christmas tree comes into our house, and it's beautified by straw decorations that my wife makes, and all the ornaments and all that, and it's a place that it makes its way there. But now, most trees are cut and ground up and thrown away. This tree Our Christmas trees are always cut off. The Christmas tree goes out and puts on a post out in the middle of the yard, ties it there, and then we put things in there for birds.
Oh, sure.
So it's got another purpose, that other trees don't have. But the key of the whole tree is that in this tree there's a acorn, and that this thing started from this acorn, and this acorn falls from this tree and goes into our flower bed. And guess what? It'll be another tree. Yeah.
That's really kind of an educational piece as well.
It's designed for children.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that's what I was thinking. As a former teacher, I can see where it would be.
Yeah.
Very good that way. Well, thank you very much, Darwin, and thank you to our viewers for watching. And we'll see you next time on Out of the Past and at the Pioneer Museum.
Martin County on TV, talking business.
Good day, I'm Jeff Rouse, executive producer of Our Story Productions, and we have a very special guest today.
Marcus Eytcheson.
Thank you, Marcus, for joining us today. Tell the folks a little bit about yourself and what you do for a living.
Well, I live here in rural Fairmont. I have a business based out of Fairmont, Fairmont Roofing. It's technically local roofing. I know a lot of people don't fully understand everything we've got going on, but the sign says Fairmont Roofing on the building, but it's technically local roofing because we have branches in Hayward, Wisconsin, Becker, Minnesota. Foley Roofing is actually a branch that we purchased in Waseca, Minnesota, but we run everything out of our main office here in Fairmont.
I know you're downtown Fairmont, and by the way, great job on restoring that building. I was very impressed and very happy to see that. What you've done to that building is remarkable.
Yeah, you didn't have to pay for it, so I'm sure it was.
But from my angle, I really like what you've done.
Right,
That's
right.
awesome. But I did not realize you have bases in these other communities. I think that's pretty cool.
Yes, we do. Like I said, Fairmont's kind of our hub. We run all of our office, as far as our paperwork and things like that. Everything runs through Fairmont. Keeps everything more streamlined instead of having everything spread out all over the place. Helps keep our overhead down. But yeah, as far as restoring that building, that was a project that I had no idea what we were getting into when we started that. We knew it was going to be a lot of work, a lot of renovation, but the surprises you find in these older downtown buildings is really...
Well, as a building owner myself, too, of downtown buildings, these buildings were, most of them, made at turn of the century. And so it should not totally surprise us that there may be some issues. But it does it not?
Oh, man. There was just things that we ran into that I did not see coming. When we started tearing out the ceilings, if you haven't been in the building, stop by. Our hours are a little bit crazy in the winter because it's not as busy for us. The dawn's not in quite as often, but there used to be 3 different levels to the ceilings, where it had been remodeled, and then they rewired it and put another ceiling in, and then rewired it and put another ceiling in. There was different heating ductwork and furnaces hidden in the ceiling. It's the craziest stuff I've ever seen, but we spent months just doing demo. I wish I could remember the exact number of dump trailer loads. If you call Mike Sadoff, he's probably got a rough idea, but I feel like it was 50. It was just every day, hey, Mike, can you come and dump the dump trailer? This thing's full again. It was just
Well,
terrible.
the final results has been remarkable. And if you have not been in the building, check it out. It's very, very cool. Tell us, as far as your business, how many employees?
It's been, how do I want to say this, growing rapidly. So we kind of organized the company in 2015, took it serious as far as building a team and really getting things going with quote unquote Fairmont Roofing in 2018. And we would have started with Jessica doing a lot of the the back office types things. Dave was a project manager. Dylan started doing sales, and we had a few college guys. Zach Johnston, who's currently our operations manager, started out as an installer, at that time.
Sure.
Those first 6 or 7 people, I think we still have 3, Jessica, Dylan, and Zach, that are all kind of part of our, core group of the company. Now I believe as of today, we probably have 20 staff members.
Wow.
This time of year. Some of the guys are, sales, some guys are maybe seasonal right now with it being in the middle of winter. We're not going too crazy, but when we bring in all of our subcontract labor and everything, in mid-season we could have as many as 50 people on staff running around. It gets wild during the summertime.
I can imagine. And you do more than just roofing, because I know firsthand we had some awnings and different things done.
Yeah, we do mostly roofing. Stone-coated steel shingles is it's one of our niches. That's what I put on my own personal home. We do asphalt shingles. We do sheet steel, whether it's ag steel, standing seam steel. Gutters is a big part of our business. We've got a gutter crew that'll go full-time once it warms up, that we run in-house. And then we do dabble into some other products. We're a fully licensed building contractor, so we can do everything legally, but we try not to do it all.
Sure.
We're trying to get really good at a small niche and just do that is what we're working on now.
We're tremendously pleased that you're downtown and brought such a business to town. And we also are aware you're very involved in many different things in the community and a big supporter of our community. We appreciate that. Tell us a little bit about some of the projects you've been involved with.
I've helped out with a little bit of the stuff downtown, just trying to get involved and learn a little bit more about downtown now that we have obviously a vested interest
Sure.
on Main Street, if you will. The Chamber of Commerce, I've been trying to help out there. I'm on the board. Timing is always an issue.
Of
It
course.
is tough to make time. Anybody that's watching, if you own a business, it is difficult to carve out time between family and the business you're running, and then if you decide to start another business like real estate and do things like that on the side, it eats up a little more time. But you've done a lot with that. One thing that we really, with our company, that I've kind of driven home here. This year we gave away, I think it was about 25 meals for Thanksgiving, not just in Fairmont, but in also some of our other locations. And this next year our goal is to get up to 50 families where we'll get a Thanksgiving meal out to them. It worked out well here in Fairmont, with Hy-Vee and some of the other local stores helping out, getting things boxed up so we could just throw them in the trucks and the vans and get them out there. I grew up in Truman, just a few miles up the road here. And I'm going to say, for lack of knowing exactly when it was, about 30 years ago, I grew up, we didn't have any money. It wasn't always rainbows and sunshine, but there was some group of people in Truman that used to do that. I don't know if they still do. Maybe somebody out there can comment and let you know, but when I was little, approximately 30 years ago, we were gifted a meal at Thanksgiving or Christmas or whenever it was. I don't remember all the specifics, but it's something that I never forgot.
Sure.
I thought it was a really neat idea, and it's something that I could do now. Now that the business has done pretty well. This year was a little tougher, but we still found a way to make it work, and hoping that we can continue to grow this thing, and next year that we can take it, see if we can double it year over year.
So you're paying it forward.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's so
Absolutely.
cool. That's awesome. Well, thank you for that. And I know your involvement in committees and groups, as much as you have time, is something that you're passionate about, and we appreciate you being involved. We talked a little bit, you mentioned earlier about trying to carve in a little time for family. We haven't talked about your family. Tell me a little bit about your family.
Yeah. I've got my wife, Elisa. She grew up right here in the Fairmont area as well. She works here at the hospital in town. And then I've got 3 little ones, Edwin, Esme, and Elon. They all go to school at St. James Lutheran in Northrop. We try to get them active. My wife and I were both athletes when we were younger, and it's different. I don't know anybody watching. It just is crazy how different it is that my kids want to be YouTubers, or they want to be professional gamers. Like when I was little, it was, hey, get on your bike and go to the pool, go play baseball at the park or whatever it is. We played sports all the time. With our kids, it is more difficult to get them active. Like wrestling is a big thing for me. I love that. Love the sport of wrestling. I try to, help support that as much as I can and try to nudge my boys gently in that direction as best I can.
Sure.
But that's a work in progress. With Elisa, she was big into gymnastics, so she's tried to get Esme to do that. And, those are the types of things that we look back at our childhood, the things that we really loved, and maybe our kids won't be into the same stuff, but we're working on it.
It definitely has changed for all of us, and go a generation farther back. Mm-hmm. For many generations, it pretty much stayed the same. Mm-hmm. Where our kids, your age were involved in sports and activities in school, and now it's more the grandkids and kids your age that aren't necessarily into that like they were because of gaming and computer, and maybe I'm old-fashioned, but they're missing out on a great way of life.
You know, I think they are. We keep nudging them that way because it's what we know, it's what we loved. But if you ask Edwin, he's going to tell you that he loves his little VR headset and he loves Roblox and
of course
Minecraft and whatever else he's playing. He's just living the dream, watching YouTube videos of kids playing games, and it's like, man, how can that be any fun? And then, you know, I'll be watching the World Poker Tour on TV, watching somebody else play games. So I don't know.
Maybe it's all what we relate to, right?
Yeah.
I understand you wrote a book. You have time? You wrote a book?
Yeah, it was...
Took time.
Oddly enough, I went in to read to my daughter's class at school one day, and trying to pick out a book that related to me to read to the class, couldn't find it. Anybody can write a children's book, just in case you're wondering out there. It only took me minutes to kind of break down a storyline, pencil it out, and then I realized I can't draw. I'm a dirty roofer. Drawing's not my thing, so a person who had actually hired us to do a roof for them, turned out he was a cartoonist. So he drew the pictures and got everything colored, knew somebody in the publishing world. So we kind of had a connection there. And then we had another lady from church who was bilingual. So she helped translate everything. Because once I got into it, then I thought, well, you know, it really should serve more than just the purpose of me reading to my daughter's class. So we have a lot of Latinos that help us out with the roofing company. We thought it'd be cool if they could have a book they could read to their kids at bedtime, explain what they do every single day. You know, there's always books about policemen, firemen, you know, whatever it is. Well, nobody writes a book about a roofer. Right?
Dad's a roofer.
That's not a thing. So that's what we did. We got it translated, got everything drawn up, got them printed. I don't even know where we have them listed for sale or anything. I never really got into that. You know, it was more we just did it for fun and gave some away. And I know we have some at the office. We can sell them. We just haven't really pushed it. It's been more of a fun project just for the kids than anything.
Well, that is awesome. So that's going to look good on the old resume too.
Yeah, I guess
Author.
Author. Yeah, I'll slide that in there. I'll put that down.
Hey, I want to thank you for joining us today. Tell the folks if they want to get a hold of you or have questions, how do they do that?
Our website, if you're in the the local Fairmont area, it's just fairmontroofing.com. Otherwise, the office number is 507-236-4928. Those are probably the two best ways as far as finding us, finding out about us, reaching out. Otherwise, just look for the two-slice toaster vans, as we affectionately call them. You'll see Troy and Jeremy and Derek running around in these beautiful little ProMaster two-door vans, all wrapped up with Fairmont Roofing. And we're starting to shift that way from the trucks, just from a cost standpoint. The trucks are not very economical. Yeah. So the two-slice toaster vans, watch for those. They're coming in hot.
And they also can come in and check out your building.
Oh, absolutely. Our office is located, we actually have two doors. I don't know if it used to be two buildings at one time. Couldn't tell you in the remodel. It got wild, but it's 77 and 79 Downtown Plaza here in Fairmont, across the road from the Sentinel and El Agave.
You bet.
Here in downtown.
Great location. Again, thrilled to have you downtown. Hey, Marcus, thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for watching Talking Business. We'll see you next time.
Martin County on TV, Talking Business.
Welcome back to our show, Educating with Faith. My name is Sarah Striemer. I am the principal at St. John Vianney here in Fairmont, Minnesota. And today I have 4 of my 6th graders with us who we're going to interview. So I would like each of you to introduce yourself and let us know if you have any siblings who are currently at St. John Vianney or who have already graduated. Go ahead, Brooklyn.
My name is Brooklyn, and I have one brother who has graduated from St. John Vianney, and he is now in 8th grade.
My name is Lexi, and I have a 5th grade sister, a 2nd grade brother named Jackson, and a kindergarten brother named Austin.
And what's your sister's name?
Halen.
Halen.
My name is Michael, and I have a younger sister who's in 1st grade and a younger brother who's in 3rd grade. and an older brother named Thomas, who is in 8th grade, who graduated from St. John Vianney, and an older brother and sister who did not graduate from St. John Vianney because we moved from Missouri to come here.
And so they were already past elementary when you came to Fairmont, right?
Yep.
Yep. And then you have a baby sister at home as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes.
My name is Max, and I have a sister who graduated from St. John Vianney.
Very good. Max, can you explain to our viewers what a day at St. John Vianney is like?
Very busy and full of homework. And I think that would probably be the best, 2 words to describe it.
Okay. Why do you think your teachers give you homework to do?
Because they want us to learn and grow in faith.
Mm-hmm. Very good. Michael, how would you explain a day at St. John Vianney?
Learn a lot of stuff.
What would you say is your favorite subject?
Well, right now, we're reading Tom Sawyer.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably my favorite subject right now because, but I also like math.
Okay. You love to read, right? Both you boys
Yeah.
really love to read. So tell our listeners a little bit about the Accelerated Reader program that we use.
We have a score thing where certain books are certain points because of their vocabulary.
Mm-hmm.
So then you earn points for the books you read.
How do you get those points? What do you have to do?
You have to quiz on the book, and you can't look at the book while quizzing.
Yep. So how many points do you have so far this year, Max?
Well, if you add my bookmarks, I think I'm around 2,000. Sorry. And then my singular bookmark is to 325.
Awesome. How about you? How many do you have, Michael?
I probably have somewhere around 1,500 if you add all the bookmarks together.
Okay.
But I'm only at 225, I think, right now.
Because you guys love to read, don't you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You're the highest.
So girls, let's get a lady's perspective on a day at St. John Vianney. How would you describe your day, Lexi?
So when we get to school, we go outside for recess, and then on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, we either go to art or computer, and on Wednesdays, we start the day off with mass.
Okay. Do you like attending mass each week? Yeah, very good. Brooklyn, what's your take on a day at St. John Vianney?
It's very fun. We get to learn a lot, and most days we do all of our subjects.
Okay.
And we get assigned with sometimes homework, and sometimes we don't, and sometimes we have more than a day to get it done, and sometimes we have just the day.
Sure. What would you say your favorite subject is?
Probably science.
Science. Why do you love science?
Well, right now we're working on a lot of planets, and I really think the planets are interesting.
Okay, very good. Lexi, what's your favorite subject?
I like art class because I get to be creative.
Okay, very good. Very good. Do you guys enjoy going to music class?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we get to go to music twice a week at St. John Vianney. What is something special that 6th graders get to learn how to play in music class? What instrument?
We get to learn to play the guitars.
Yep, so by the end of the school year, all the 6th graders have learned how to play basic guitar, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Max, what is something that you really love about being a student at St. John Vianney?
All the people are really nice, and the teachers really want you to learn and really succeed in your class.
Very good, very good. Lexi, what's something you really love about being a student?
All the people that are your age are really nice, and everyone in the school is really nice, and the teachers are super duper supportive, and the coaches, either for it's basketball or volleyball, are they always tell you that you're doing great and that you should keep going.
All right, so Michael, what is your favorite thing about being a student at St. John Vianney?
Probably going to music class.
Okay.
Because we get to learn a lot of music.
Yeah, very good.
And our music teacher is really good.
She is pretty amazing, isn't she? We have a lot of really amazing teachers, don't we? I would say all of them are. Yeah. Brooklyn, what's your favorite thing about being a student at St. John Vianney?
All the teachers are always really supportive, and they're always willing to help you when you have a question.
Mm-hmm.
And they never give you too much to do so that you feel overwhelmed.
Okay.
and the students are always really nice to you, and it's really easy to make friends.
Yeah, very good. For those of you that have older siblings, would you say that when your older siblings left St. John Vianney, they felt very prepared to go on to the high school?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Very good. Very good. All right. Is there anything that you're going to miss when you graduate this spring about St. John Vianney? Max, what are you going to miss?
I am going to miss all the great teachers and all my friends because I will not be going to the Fairmont High School.
Yep. So you get to go another direction, don't you? Very good. Okay, Michael, how about you? What are you going to miss?
I'm probably going to, mostly I'm going to miss my friends because after SJV, we don't have a Catholic high school, so we just do homeschooling.
Yep.
And I don't get to meet up with my friends as often.
But you'll still get to see them around town, right? Since Fairmont's not that big of a town. Yep. So you'll still get to see them at different activities.
Yep.
Okay. Brooklyn, how about you?
I'm going to miss all the support we got with the teachers and friends and all the coaches as they help us through our sports.
How about you, Lexi?
I'm going to miss being in the same class with like the same people because you get to know them really well, and you won't get to do that as well in high school.
Okay, very good. So let's say that you were walking around town and somebody saw you with your St. John Vianney shirt on and they're like, hey, can you tell me a little bit about that school? Why would I want to send my kids there? Max, what would you tell an adult who wanted to send their children to St. John Vianney? What advice would you give them?
I would tell them that the school teaches you a lot about love and to love one another as Jesus would love you. And I think that's a really good message to send people, just to be like friends if someone's feeling down or something.
Okay, Lexi, if an adult walked up to you on the street and said, tell me more about St. John Vianney, what would you tell them?
I would tell them that the teachers set very good examples for you when you move on from the school and you graduate, and that the people there are super nice and supportive.
How about you, Brooklyn?
I would tell them that it would be a great school to send your kid to because all the friends are really nice and the teachers are really supportive and always helping you, and there's so many classes that are just really fun.
Awesome. Great. And Michael, what would you tell someone who wanted to learn more about St. John Vianney?
That it's really fun to go there because there are a lot of fun activities. Like we have a annual marathon where we run laps and we get to have a lot of fun.
Excellent. Very good. Well, thank you guys. I hope that when you get back to school, you don't have too much math homework. Do you think you'll be able to get it caught up tonight?
Yeah, tonight, but probably not today.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. We look forward to visiting with you again soon on our St. John Vianney show, Educating with Faith.
Well, there you have it, another episode of Martin County on TV. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we welcome you to tune in again. Thank our sponsors for making this happen, and remember, it's not just the past, but the present that tells our story.